Welcome. Welcome to the healing stream, right? We're doing some healing here tonight. How are y'all doing? Good. Yeah, tonight we are mending rifts. We are rebuilding old bridges, right? I just want you all to know that I'm not mad at the Daimo. I want the Daimo to know I'm not mad at it. Now, I also want him to know I'm not stupid. It's important that he knows that. But I want him to know I'm not mad. Not at all. Not even
Or
remotely. Um Now he's uploaded a video responding from the toilet. And we're going to listen to that and just, respond. But unlike with certain other people, I still hold the Daimo in high regard. I still consider him a friend, and yeah. So I'm just a sort of an asterisk on this one. The drama doesn't actually go that deep. Maybe by the end of this video, because I haven't watched it yet, I'll have an entirely different opinion. But right now, I'm not pissed at the Daimyo. It's he did something that pissed me off. I expressed that it pissed me off, and now I'm over it. That's where I am with that shit.
alright, dude. It is now spiraled to the point where I am forced to acknowledge that Shaggy is having a tantrum. And
Thank you. It's important to me that you acknowledge my tantrum. If you don't acknowledge my tantrum, how do I know that I'm receiving the attention that I crave?
I know that anything I say or do will just be used as fuel for this tantrum. So I might as well just
Well, I am using it as content for my channel. But it's like uh, why not? It's I'm not attacking you. This is not an attack. I don't have any insults prepared. Uh, Moreover, it's kind of hard to attack someone who is in character. It's sort of hard to attack the character of a man who's always in character. But I mean,
say how I feel and my thoughts, because why not? It's just gonna blow up anyway.
a little late. This there's like an ember left. But it burnt out, dude. I'm over it. Like, I acknowledge that perhaps I've been a bit too willing to play the fool, and as a result of that, you may have overestimated my willingness to take a pie in the face, right? And I am not like when this shit happened with Toxic. It was that I allowed him to go too far too many fucking times, and I didn't say anything. And then by the time I did say something, he was straight up calling me a bitch live on air and shit. Right? That was my bad. It was my fault that I let it get to that degree with that dude. So realistically, I just felt I had to to make it clear that I don't just let dudes walk up and say that they fuck me in the ass as a diss and thank them for it. Like that's not what's going on here.
There's nothing I could do. The course is set. Shaggy did a stream called Flushing the Toilet.
Well, I really had to. I really had to. Like, my first reaction was to try and juggle the joke as best I could. But like there's really not much you can do with I'm gonna fuck you in the ass, right? It's not really a joke. It's more of like a diss. But I did my best to work with it, understanding that this whole Council of Evil thing is actually a council of clowns. Understanding that what we do here on YouTube is somewhat of a performance. We may use that as an excuse to voice an opinion we genuinely hold, but we attempt to be somewhat entertaining, especially like you do a whole character. You do multiple characters. So it's like I do give you a lot of fucking leeway with that because it's not like you're calling me a bitch. It's the Daimo calling me a bitch. And it's like to a degree, like you never when a clown laughs at you, you don't respond by punching the clown. You don't do that, right? It's and I don't really feel I should need to explain this to you because you were like one of those kids in like the acting classes or and shit, right? You're someone who has some professional experience as an entertainer. You should know not to fucking overburden the other people in the act. Like throw a pie in my face, but don't put a brick in there and then expect like come on.
We talks about no more fun, no more bits. It's only super serious time.
I don't think I'm sorry that's the message you got from that. That's not what I was trying to say. I was simply trying to say that it's like Axel said. You were going at me pretty hard. Like everyone who's familiar with our content knows that I am completely okay doing some gayfabe, doing a gay joke. I don't mind that because like someone calling me a faggot is not effective as an insult. You have to be more creative and more personal. I'm comfortable enough with myself that I don't mind doing a bit of gay humor, right? But there's a difference between doing a gay joke and being humiliated. All right. There's a difference between being thrown a ball and having someone throw a rock at you. Moreover, what I said was that like there's too much gayfabe lately. Like the other day, Surfer tried to do a stream on me, and it's just 2 hours of him seething and talking about gay activities, gay sex. Like there's a point where Surfer literally holds the camera to his face and starts describing sexual acts. Like as it, like the effect is as if he's like leaning up right close to your ear and whispering to you or just like talking to you really closely and intimately about two men having erotic gay sex, and it's just really gay. Like I'm not sure that's what Surfer was going for, but there's literally like a part in that stream he did at me where he just holds the camera right to his mouth like a lover and starts talking about like Brian Dunn giving blowjobs or something. It's pretty fucking bad. I was talking over him, but the gayness within the council, like that was Axel's bit. All right, Axel was the one who worked with the sex jokes, and then Rudy Coleman like got exposed for like doing the gay, and suddenly everyone has to do sex jokes. Like I will do sex jokes if I'm acting as part of someone else's bit. But on my own, I really don't make that many of them. I make rape jokes. That's about it, right? It's like, no, let's pretend Shaggy. I knew this was coming. Let's pretend Shaggy is being super serious. Let's pretend Shaggy is being just a bitter old scold who can't take a joke. No, I can take a joke, right? That thing you did with with Axel as Doctor D, where you basically called me and Surfer homos. That was funny, and I didn't complain. I gave it a likes up because it was funny. And it's a lot different than you like just coming on there and simulating rape on me. That's not a bit. That's attempting to make me look bad in order to bludgeon my attacks against Brian Dunn. That's you running defense for Brian Dunn. That's what that was. I don't know why you're running defense for Brian Dunn. You seem to be worried that will hurt his feelings so bad that he'll never come back. He'll come back. He's like the Terminator. He'll be back. He's the Cardinator, right? He was sent from a gay future to gay the past, right? He's the he's the retardinator. He'll be back, you know. And Skynet has a billion clones just like him. Don't worry. And while that analogy went a bit too far, what I mean by that is Brian Dunn can't stay the fuck away from the internet. He can't fucking log off. He hasn't left even now, Daima. Do you realize that? He hasn't left even now. He's working through you and Surfer and a bunch of other people. He's still here. Like my channel is very much dead, and that happened after he supposedly killed himself. All right, Brian Dunn is not going anywhere. Your friend isn't going anywhere. He's just having a jarbo of a time, right? He's just having his feet held to the fire because the sort of behavior that Brian Dunn engages in backfires. And you would not want to live in a world where the sort of behavior that Brian Dunn engages in doesn't backfire.
which is kind of odd for a man called Mormon Shaggy. But whatever. It looks
I again, I'm not saying we can't do any more jokes. Like the whole thing about the budget for gay jokes, that in itself is a gay joke. We don't actually operate on a budget with that. You know this. Like it's I mean, it's a valid fucking point. Read your chat, read your comments, dude. It's a valid point. It's like there has been a bit much faggotry in regards to to the humor on everyone's part, and it needs to stop. But like that's not what this is about. And you can try and spin it that way, but I'm not buying that. Like
like I'm going the way of Surfer. Shaggy has this pattern where he builds up a person on the internet, and then the person on the internet does something that Shaggy does not like, and then he hates them for no apparent reason.
no, dude, you know that's not the case with Surfer. You've been in conversations where you've pointed out that's not the thing with Surfer, and that's not how it is with you. I still consider you a friend. The reason shit is the way it is with Surfer is because Surfer consistently, over a long period of time, communicated to me that he has no respect for me as a person, as a YouTube creator, and in fact harbors quite a bit of contempt for me as well. Um, you know, I don't really understand why he initially started feeling that way. and it's reached a point where I don't really give a fuck, I still consider you a friend. I hope we are never at that point where I am with Surfer. Because I do value my friendships. But you need to understand this. If I had let you just present me as a bitch tier homosexual, that would be my reputation. And you know just how fucking vicious people can be around here if you have a shit reputation. I guarantee you, your friend Brian knows how vicious people can be around here if they have a shit reputation. I mean, I'd like to think you didn't really understand what you were doing there or what the effect of that would be if I'd allowed it. But it's like Axel said on Surfer's stream. I think you do understand it. I think you knew what you were doing, and no, I don't think it was lighthearted humor. I think there was a stated goal in mind, and whatever it was, like
It seems like it's my turn. Eventually, it will be Axel's turn, be Gahul's turn, etc.
Axel and Gahul have both done things I didn't like before, and we got over it. It's not like I'm an unforgiving person. By the time it's not like Surfer stabbed me in the back and I never forgave him. It's like he like kept plunging dagger after dagger after dagger. It's like I had a literal fucking armory sticking out of my back. People were calling me fucking retarded for being his friend by the time I eventually decided fuck this guy. And it was the same for Ear Juice. Like by the time I fucking stopped fucking with you, everyone else has to have lost serious fucking respect for me just for even speaking to you. Like, it's not like I'm a fair weather friend. No one can accuse me of that, dude. Like, realistically, the entire point of this is because I don't want some sort of drama with you. I think that those jokes you made went a bit too fucking far. And if I hadn't fucking pushed back like this, you'd still be doing it. Let's be real. If I hadn't definitively said, knock this shit off, you'd have like 3 more videos talking about fucking me up the butt right now. Let's just, you'd have like songs about it and everything. It would be a narrative, and it would be a narrative used to give Brian Dunn the time needed to sneak out the back door. I'm just not willing to sign up for that, dude. I care about you as a friend, but I'm not signing for that package. There's just no fucking way in hell.
I don't really feel particularly upset or emotional about this because this just seems to be a recurring pattern and doesn't seem connected at all to reality.
Um, like, again, I'm not mad at you even now. Like, it's over. Like, uh, I still really enjoy your content. I hope you continue to make content. Uh, like, you know, I'm not going to say I don't overreact at times. There have been times where I have overreacted, but typically with that shit, I realize I overreacted in like a day and I apologize. Like, and one thing I've learned on here on YouTube, this is something I've actually learned from my interactions on YouTube. I have a bit of a cold, so my voice is probably even more annoying than usual. And what I've learned here is that you can, excuse me, I have to blow my nose here. What I've learned here is that you can't let people disrespect you on here. And it's It's not like some ghetto shit, but it's sort of for the same reason. Like, if people see you like just treating me like a bitch and me accepting it, they will also start to treat me like a bitch. They will also start to see me like a bitch. Okay? Anyone who will just allow another man to talk to him like that isn't worthy of respect. I'm basically obligated to tell you to fuck off when you say shit like that. I get that it is in character, but I'm not proud of this. But I used to do a lot of the role play online, right? A lot of my weekends were, I'm ashamed to admit, spent as an undead wizard. And with role play, with comedy, with any other sort of shit, like you're expected to like understand this unspoken in shit, right? You don't fucking throw a weighted ball to like I shouldn't have to explain this. Really I don't think I do.
I called in to Shaggy's show doing a bit.
That was not a bit.
Like, I have done millions of times before.
We've done like gay humor before and I didn't have a problem with it. That wasn't a haha you're gay joke. That was a I'm raping you and you're my bitch joke. Big difference. I don't think you're as innocent and shocked as you're making out to be. Like, but honestly, I'm not. I don't want drama about this either. It's honestly a pretty trivial thing that I think we can move on from. We can just fucking move on from this. It's just I think anyone in the chat, which I'm not reading. I don't look at the chat, but it's like they would lose respect for me, what little respect I have around here. And that's not what I mind. What I mind is that they would be right to do so. Like, I would have a hard time looking at myself in the mirror if I just allowed you to talk shit like that to me, dude. It's like,
And for some reason, this time, it was too far.
yeah, it was measurably too far. I'm so maybe there's like a slim chance that you didn't realize that. I'm shocked you didn't know that shit, the shit you were saying, was too far. Like, I what do I even say? Too far? Like you were saying that some pretty fucking gay and fucked up shit, dude. Like, there's a difference between a joke and a diss, and quite honestly, I kind of expect you to know the difference. Like, Ethan, I regard you as a smarter man than myself. Why do I need to explain this to you?
Now Shaggy is threatening to release trading cards at me, and I guess he is free to do so. I honestly don't know.
I'm sure Surfer is showing all sorts of leaks and shit. That's literally a show is my leaks. His show, Surfer's show, is digging through my trash. Although the one bit where I show up and I run him off his own show by telling him how much PPP and Andy are killing it. Highly recommend you watch that. Like you can see Surfer like look away from the camera in rage to hide this the pure seethe in his eyes whenever I start talking about PPP. It really is true, Kino. The only Kino to happen in that sad apartment since PPP left, actually. But I I feel that again, I feel like I was obligated to speak up in my own defense. To like, because you did this publicly, I have to address it publicly that I do not allow men to treat me like a bitch on my own show and then just let it go unaddressed. And I'd like to. I was going to, but then you made a follow up Nirvana song, and it's like now if I don't address this, I am calling me a bitch. And I've like I can ignore the trolls, but I have to live with the man in the mirror. He never goes away, dude.
What he could possibly, what kind of cards he has.
The cards I was referring to is that basically I don't want to like fucking explain the analogy because that will be boring. I just don't want to say get involved in saying like I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to examine you for weaknesses and start taking note of your fuck ups. I don't want to have to start every time something bad happens to you. I have to hold it in my back fucking pocket, waiting for the time to use it because that will like that's why I can't be friends with Surfer. Because every once in a while, Surfer like he might be nice on Monday, he might be nice on Tuesday, but Wednesday comes around and maybe it's in his interest to throw me under the bus so that the audience can have a laugh at me. You know, I have to always be on guard with Surfer. If Surfer enters a chat, I can't just relax and chat with him because, as he will openly tell you, you can't trust him. He's not here to be your friend. He's here to play the sick, fucked up, cutthroat game that Ashton taught him, right? He's here to win points on the internet. He's here to count coup. And Surfer isn't really quick or strong enough to hunt on his own. You know, he's a three-legged jackal. He can't catch the rabbit, so every once in a while he has to turn on his friends because it's really the only meat he can get his jaws on, right? Surfer, he has to go at the people who are reluctant to swing back at him. No one else. First off, no one else will give him any attention. Like he can bitch about PPP all the day long, and PPP isn't gonna give a shit. But if he says fucked up things about people who consider him a friend, a bunch of people will tune in just to see the snakening, and he'll get a bit of attention. He'll get his little head pats from the chat, right? That's what I don't want to be playing cards with you, Daimo. And that wasn't the initial meaning of the analogy, but let's take it there. Let's use it there. I don't want to have to be playing cards with you. I'd rather just be your friend. I don't want a competition with you. Because as much as it's all comedy, as much as it's all jokes and shit, as much as we're all having a laugh here, excuse me as I blow my nose. As much as all that, no one likes to be the bitch in a gangbang, as Jim put it. You know, there's a lot of fucked up, vicious shit that goes on here. A lot of mentally ill people who take this shit a little too seriously. Like Brian Dunn.
But I guess he's gonna use them, and there's really nothing I can do to stop him or influences him to, to not do it.
I'm just not gonna do it. The drama is over. Like I've forgiven and moved on. I'm not mad at you. I'm just addressing this because you produced it. Like I'm not buying this. I don't think anyone is buying this shit about Shaggy can't take a joke. Like I think every like that's just not, that one isn't gonna sell.
Or to do it, really. His mind is set. And Shaggy gets like that, where his mind is set, and it's going to happen whether or not we say or do anything.
I'm pretty much done with this. Like I don't expect anything more on this. Uh like I disagree with you about this, but I didn't expect we'd come to a resolution. I really don't need one. Let's just like move on.
I like Shaggy. I consider Shaggy a friend, but I'm not terribly surprised by this behavior. Um,
You shouldn't be like I do your other friends like allow you to say that to them? I mean, like Axel said, would anyone else on the council be okay with that? Like, I do a lot of gayfabe with Axel. I do more gayfabe with him than anyone. And I wouldn't let him say that shit without pushback. And I mean, like, immediate and serious pushback. Like, there's people on here I like fighting with. You're not one of them. I enjoy your content and I don't want beef with you. It is in no way in my interest to start a fight with you. Like no matter who looks stupid there, I ultimately lose that one. That's why I'm kind of hurt that you put me in that position to begin with. I don't want to be making this video. I don't want any of I just wanted to laugh at Brian Dunn. I just wanted to join everyone else in kicking Brian Dunn while he's down, right? And it's well deserved. It is very well deserved. But you're trying to I'm shocked. You're trying to like protect the dude, and I guess maybe your only way to the only person you could pull off of him was me. You thought you'd get me to leave him alone by calling me. I don't know what the fuck. Maybe it was just a bit. You just did it because it was funny, but and yeah, that is funny, but it's. I don't mind a joke at my expense, but look at the fucking bill, dude. Like, you order the most expensive fucking thing on the fucking menu and then order like 3 orders of it. I can't pay for that.
I suspected that something like this would happen eventually.
Yeah, dude, if you start telling everyone that you fuck me in the ass as a lesson to teach me a lesson, I'm probably gonna start having a rather negative opinion of you. Like the shit I say of you is probably going to get progressively more spiteful. I mean, maybe that's weird. Am I an anomaly in that regard? Like, I'm really good friends with Axel. You know, I had a fight with Axel over a Discord chat, and we're still cool. Like, there was no resolution to that. I still think, like, he was like we still disagree on that shit. Frankly, I think the people in his chat that he's offended on or was offended on behalf of, I don't really care about those people. I don't value them. If they died of cancer after being raped by an AIDS infected chimp that escaped from the zoo, if that happened to some of the people in Monkey Biz that I don't like, I would be okay with it. But Axel likes those people. So he was very upset that I did something that pissed them off. Now, personally, I don't think those people are worth the steam off my piss. So I don't really agree with him asking me to leave his Discord. I think he should kick them out, frankly. And I'm especially like inclined towards that belief because of the presence, the seemingly immutable presence of this dude named Voodoo, who everyone in there hates passionately. Like, they passionately hate the guy. And I just assume that Axel has his own view of it that might not make sense to me, but makes sense to him. But me and Axel just are still friends. It's not like this huge rift. It's not like a massive wound in the friendship. I no longer really give a fuck about that Discord. I assume he no longer gives a fuck about that drama. And it's like with Gahul. When I started getting into shit with Surfer, Gahul started coming to Surfer's defense, calling me an asshole for getting into it with Surfer. Now, I think since then, Gahul has realized that, Surfer actually can be a massive fucking backstabbing asshole. Uh, but we're still cool. It's not like I'm unforgiving and cold hearted and will now just hate you. I don't. That's not me, dude. Like, Surfer really had to earn the contempt I have for him by doing repeated snaky, fucked up things that even the people in his own chat who didn't like me would say, well, yeah, we don't like Shaggy, which is why it's funny that he snaked. They didn't deny it was snaking or that it was fucked up. I think that you're making more of this than there really needs to be.
Because this kind of seems like the kind of guy Shaggy is. He just sort of does this. I found a lot of things that Shaggy
Pray it ain't COVID, fellas.
said to be just straight up delusional about me. And I'm not going to engage with them because they're so delusional, there's no point.
Uh, the only thing I've said about you, dude, is most of it is like if you look at the list of shit I've said about you, it's like 99% positive. I don't really take shots at you. Um, really, my only point, and I really don't like making it. I feel forced to. I would rather not do this. When you have seen yourself, you have left this shit behind entirely on more than one occasion because people just make it not fun. They start posting nothing but negative comments in the chat. The like it like eventually, and it's like a recurring thing. You've reached a point where you felt like it just wasn't fun anymore. And if it's not fun, what's the point? So, given that you understand how people can be, how this sector can be either fun or a nightmare, why would you, like, you know, it's like it's not all in good fun. Some of the shit people say around here is meant to make you look bad so that they can benefit, so that the person making you look bad can benefit off your shame. There is a whole shame economy on YouTube. Now, we don't engage in that shit, but it still exists. Like, there's a reason that your friend Brian Dunn isn't around right now. If the lesson you were trying to teach me was that it sucks to be Brian Dunn, so I shouldn't make fun of him, I would counter that the reason it sucks to be Brian Dunn is because Brian Dunn consistently acts like Brian Dunn. Fuck.
Of collaborating with Godwinson to say gay jokes that would undermine his high position in the sector.
And that's a very convenient way to misinterpret it. But I think we both know I'm not that delusional. That if you want to use what's the word I'm looking for? Hyperbole. What it's actually is there's a lot of fucking gay ops that go on with Godwinson. And Godwinson has an ever shifting roster of people who, despite having been humiliated by him, or in my case, despite him having attempted to humiliate me at one point, a lot of these people are just jumping at the bit to work with him, to collaborate with him, to be a part of a Godwinson production for some reason. It's all based in delusion. I gotta say, like it is all based in the delusion of some incredibly autistic and broken people in chat who have like a parasocial relationship with their internet dad. But it's like Godwinson has this ever shifting roster of people like Brian Dunn, and here you are going to bat for Brian Dunn. And I know it seems like Godwinson is the one flaying Brian alive. But you and I know that even as Godwinson is doing that, Brian is still sucking his cock. He is that fucking bootlicked to Godwinson's dick. I don't think that about you, dude. I don't. I do think that I find it delusional to say that Godwinson isn't always trying to insert himself and involve himself behind the scenes and shit. That's what he gets off on doing, is being a gay ass dark lord of the internet. You know, that is a term he created, like Jim Walker. But he's a hypocrite. That which he accuses of you of, he does himself to a T. Eh,
And I guess I will address that because that was the most batshit insane thing ever.
you should watch more of my content. But seriously, is it the most batshit insane thing ever to think Godwinson would be behind the strings in the sector, doing shady ops and gay shit when no one's looking? Is like, in what reality is Godwinson not spending his whole fucking life in weird ass Discord servers, manipulating mentally deficient neurotics and other really weird, like, pariah types? Even if he's not engaging in this shit, like, the guy prefers to interact with people like Jahans and shit. He he views humanity as like a freak show, and his aim is to see the real freaks, right? That's not a weird or crazy take. It's easy to present it as one. But no, Godwinson really is like doing all this gay would-be Machiavellian shit, trying to like arrange the cool kids table just so as he sits there in the Barbie dream mansion. It is all really gay. and psychotic. But the whole sector is built on this shit. Like, what? Did you just get here? Of course, Godwinson is behind a lot of this gay shit. Like, if Brian is manipulating you, then you're being manipulated by Godwinson through Brian. It I don't know. Maybe it's all. Maybe you just literally thought might be funny if I like totally sync Shaggy's show just for the fuck of it. Oh, okay. That's pretty fucked up. I don't know what.
Shaggy used to love Godwinson and would talk about how Godwinson's the best. And I was the outlier saying that Godwinson's content was bad. So
Godwinson, his old content is really good, which is why I thought he'd, this shit with the Salieri is really good. All right, the shit he does on his own or with Elaine sucks. My problem with Godwinson is, yeah, if he's gonna attack me, I have to attack him back. That's just the way it is. That's the bullshit feudal way we run around here. So I guess that's like, I'll be real. My problem with him is that he decided to have a go at me. It's not that much more complicated than that. But my fucking ace in the hole with him is that he failed to in any way affect Ashton psychologically, emotionally, financially. All he really did was humiliate himself. I also think it's a little odd how Asa just fucked off from the scene without a word to anyone. I don't know what happened there.
Shaggy actually took this sort of anti-Godwinson position for me. And now he's saying that I am God.
No, I took the anti Godwinson position. Well, yeah, kind of from you. You got into a fight with Godwinson. And I don't even know if this is true. This is what I heard. This is what I heard through the grapevine. Because to this day, I don't know what the fuck I did to make Godwinson go from saying I was a cool dude to calling me a faggot. Uh, but supposedly it's because I'm associated with you. In Godwinson's mind, I'm associated with you. So he starts calling me a faggot. Maybe it was a bit. Maybe it was a bit, Dymo. But I took that as an insult. And I took exception to that. You know the meme, right? Like as I saw it, that wasn't the joke. That was him calling me out at high noon. I show up at high noon and well, he pisses himself and runs away. Um, so those two things really lowered my opinion of Godwinson. First, him calling me a faggot based on his beef with someone else, followed by his like completely caving like a bitch. And that's when I started suspecting that Godwinson couldn't improvise at all. And when he ended up like, unexpectedly face to face with me in a fucking VC moderated by Brian Dunn of all people, this suspicion was confirmed. He literally had to steal a joke from John Keese, the sector's retard, the Ralph Wiggum of the sector. He had to he had to steal a joke from Ralph Wiggum to go at me, and that's when I knew Godwinson is a fucking retard. Like if you give him 2 weeks prep, he might be able to come up with something funny. But um, addiction and mental illness will both like take a toll on your creative ability. And this is a narcissist with a ketamine addiction. Let's just be real here. It's, you know, he burnt out a while ago. And that's my situation with Godwinson. Oh, no, no. That wasn't the final nail in the coffin. That was the final nail in the coffin of any respect I had for him. The final nail of the coffin that for anyone else, I mean, anyone of any sense is not going to have much respect for a dude who, for lack of anything better, pretends he has a wife and child on the way so that he can score a quick win against fucking Ashton Parks. Like Ashton had him so rattled, he was like, "Well, I have a baby on the way, and you attacked my child, Ashton." I mean, Ashton must have been laughing his ass off at that shit, laughing at Godwinson for being that fucking desperate to need to pull a card like that, and laughing at all of his A-logs who would flock to Godwinson in the hopes that he might be able to felt Ashton. I was one of them. I was watching the whole thing with Ashton, but see the thing of it is, if you want to look at that's actually someone's life, but we watch it as a story. And in the story, like PPP looked like the bad guy. We didn't know Surfer was like an insufferable psychotic who will demand you conform to his weird ass fucking rules to live with him. We didn't know that Godwinson really had burnt out years ago and was now just bitter and envious of his one-time protege and the success he was having with a guy that Godwinson personally doesn't like. And that's the other thing with Godwinson. Godwinson was funny when he went at Jahan's. He was a little bit funny when he was going at Ashton PPP because of how bad their show was at the time on YouTube. Largely because of the restrictions of YouTube. Um, but fuck, hold on. Hold on, a situation here. Okay, what was I saying? It doesn't matter. Like, hold on, let me just play that back a minute, remind myself. Okay, what was I saying? At Ashton PPP because of how bad their Godwinson was funny when he went at Jahan's. All right, there we go. Yeah, the dude, he used to go at people like Jahan's, right? And that's why he got a bunch of followers. But you know what happens when you get a bunch of fucking followers? You start thinking you have an army at your back, right? Godwinson is no longer making documentaries about lolcows. He's engaging in this my private army bullshit, this feudal bullshit. And he knows that that's what the sector's degraded into, and he revels in it. And I find it kind of distasteful. You know what? Maybe it's that I'm half British. He keeps deleting his fucking channel. It's because the people in his life find out about he has this channel. They see him doing this shit. They see him in his sunglasses pretending to be an airplane, and they're like, Adam, you look like a faggot. What is wrong with you? And he's like, I know. I'm sorry, Dad. I'll take it down. I'll take it down. I know. I look. I'm sorry. And that's how that goes, right? And I look at Godwinson with this behavior, and it's juvenile, and it's definitely not something I really want to invest my time in. Anyway, let's just go back to what we were watching there.
For some reason, this time it was in cards. Honestly, but really, his mind is set, and Shaggy gets like that, where his mind is surprised by this behavior. I suspected that something like this would happen eventually. Shaggy said to be just straight up delusional about his collaborating with Godwinson
Yeah, all right.
to.
That
This kind of seems like the
that's where we are. The detour was about Godwinson. Yeah, I unironically believe that Godwinson is constantly trying to run gay ops in the sector. Like, if he's invested enough that he will tell Ashton, you made fun of my baby. When he knows Ashton knows he has no baby, if he'll pull that, you know,
kind of guy Shaggy is. He just sort of does this. I found a lot of things that Shaggy said to be just straight up delusional about me, and I'm not going to engage with them because there's collaborate would undermine his high position in the sector. And I get
my high position in the sector. I have a better position than Brian Dunn. I am not currently bitch to the sector. And realistically, that's as good as it can be. No one is popular or liked in the sector. No one. Uh, no one is an e-celebrity in the sector. I think PPP is running like 600 viewers. He got 600 views. That's 3 times what your stream got. I just don't want all the seriously mentally ill people thinking it's Shaggy season in a negative way, because that can mean two things. I don't fucking like. You're the last person I should have to explain this to, because like you've left the internet like 3 different times because you just didn't want to deal with this bullshit that I'm talking about.
guess I will address that because that was the most batshit insane thing ever. Shaggy used to love Godwinson and would talk about how Godwinson's the best. And I was the outlier saying that Godwinson's content was bad. So Shaggy actually took this sort of anti-Godwinson position for me.
Godwinson, we've already covered that. Like when he was in college, he was good. Since then, yet no. Since he started the private army shit, since it went from like making documentaries about truly exceptional individuals to making sure that the person who called him a faggot wakes up to like 6,000 messages calling him gay. Like when that happened, yeah, he started to suck. That's typically when creators start to suck. I noticed, like, I'm remembering all the way back to like 2012. Like when the ranting community, do you know when Thunderfoot and TJ Kirk started to go downhill? It's when Venom Fang X got sick of it and left. When they finally managed to bully that poor kid off the internet, uh, they had no lolcow. They had no interesting, eccentric person that would get everyone to stop what they were doing and spend like 2 hours watching their stream. So they'd start shit with each other. And the content began to suck. And I don't think we should engage in that.
And now he's saying that I am Godwinson and I love Godwinson, which is insane. It's insane. Because
I mean it does sound insane, but I usually but this is 100% real. I've come to suspect that whoever Godwinson's current target is, that's who Godwinson is actually working with. That's who Godwinson is in some fucked up way involved with. So if he's going at Brian Dunn and you're defending Brian Dunn, that's why I assume you're on Team Godwinson. Because as counterintuitive as it all is, yeah, no, Brian Dunn is very much still Godwinson's marionette. The strings have not been severed.
Shaggy actually was the one. Much like Shaggy loved Cog, and now Shaggy hates Cog.
Again, same shit. I supported Cog because he would like read my comments, comment on shit that I was invested in. When he started calling me a pedophile, my opinion of him, you know, started going into the red very quickly. Yeah, I know. I'm very predictable in this way. When people say fucked up things to me that are designed to be degrading and defensive, I don't like it. And it causes my opinion of the person saying those things to tank. This might be the result of some sort of neurosis, perhaps a response to early childhood trauma. Uh, I don't know, but I can confirm that. Yeah, like Godwinson started calling me a faggot, and that's when the dislike started. Cog calling me a pedophile and blocking me from his chat had a negative impact on the fan content creator relationship and caused me to alog. Now, some might see that as a bizarre reason to alog someone. I don't. I think that Wings of Redemption is an actual lolcow who built his entire damnation off of just generally being an asshole to his supporters. But yeah, I mean, I will confess. I will. You got me on that, damn. I will confess to this. Yes, you are correct.
Shaggy loved PPP, Shaggy hates PPP, and now he loves PPP again.
Well, it's weird. I loved PPP because, well, actually, no. The real thing I loved about PPP, and I don't want to go on a rant about this, but he made Christianity fun. Sort of what Surfer fails to do. That's what I loved about PPP. Like his show was definitively Christian, but it was fun. And I did think it was useful for, in a way, spreading the message of Christ. He stopped doing that and started doing a show that is in no way useful to the message of Christ. And it sucked. And I hated him because of that. I didn't really hate him, but I hated the content, and I certainly started criticizing him because of that. But then they moved to Kick, where you can say the faggot word and make the rape jokes. And now their content is really good again and funny. And while not really necessarily useful to the message of Christ, at least it's not like cucked. And, Ashton says nice things about me now. So I have a positive outlook on the guy. You're right. I think I need years of therapy. I think that there's like a really weird thing where when people are nice to me, I like reciprocate it, and that's wrong and it's sick and it needs to stop. You know, the purpose of gaining someone's trust is so that you can cash that in for internet clout. It's not supposed to be just this endless cycle of friendship and reciprocation. That's bizarre. That's really weird.
Shaggy also accused me of trying to embarrass him.
Yeah, no, that stands. Yeah, he very much tried to humiliate me. The joke wasn't let's do gay stuff. The joke was, let's laugh at Shaggy. I don't begin to understand. Like, if I accept the logic that there was really no higher motive here, you just thought it would be funny, then I guess my confusion rests in the notion, why the fuck do you think I'd be okay with that?
The only person embarrassing Shaggy right now is Shaggy. When I called up to do my little gay jig, I had no intention of shaming Shaggy at all. I think he's done that all by himself by having this weird outburst.
No, no, dude, I hope we're still cool. I still have a lot of respect for you. I'm honestly glad to hear that it wasn't some fucked up attempt to make me look like a bitch in front of everyone. Because to everyone else, that's what it looked like. I'll tell you what would have really embarrassed me. 100% here, because I really mean this from the heart. What would have really humiliated me would be to pretend it was a joke. That would have humiliated me, and I'll tell you why. Because all the people who don't daylog me in my chat, all the people who don't like just flood my comment section with negative bullshit, the people who actually like me were all telling me that if I just took that, I would look like a bitch. And I would be humiliated in actuality, because I would have lost respect in the eyes of the people that actually think I'm a cool person. They're not very many of those people, but they actually do exist. I think the way to humiliate myself would have been to continue to try and gayfabe my way out of it. Try and like say, oh yeah, we're so totally gay, right? Like it's all like, but if I do that, it's a cope, because it wasn't gayfabe. It was a diss. I'm going to choose to believe you and realize, and I'm going to choose to believe you and assume you didn't know that it came off that way. But it put me in a position where I felt that I could not ignore it. I could not just let it sit. And again, like, you can read the comments. People are straight up telling me, that's not a joke. I don't know. I don't know. I have no ill will for you, dude. Nothing but respect. Love your content. Probably the biggest. I'm unironically probably your biggest fan. Um, that doesn't mean I'm gonna allow you to make me look like some sort of prag. Like, there is a limit, dude.
Shaggy wants me to not do jokes that he doesn't like and explain my esoteric bits that I'm doing.
Yeah, I think the rusty spatula thing is terrible. That shit the other night, there was nothing remotely esoteric about that shit. But the rusty spatula joke, yeah, you should explain it. It's degrading to your brand. It's not as good as the other characters, and you should improve it. Um, yeah, it's just not good enough, Daimo. Like, I like the other characters. There's something just missing with Rusty. See, like, that's a genuinely held opinion. Again, I'm probably your biggest fucking fan. I have genuine opinions as to your work. I mean, I might be insane, but that really more reflects the artist than the patron.
That's not gonna happen. If Shaggy doesn't want me to be on his streams anymore, that's fine. whatever. But like, don't fucking tell me what to do, okay?
I'll tell you what to do whenever the fuck I like. I don't mind having you on the stream, but I'll tell you what to do. Don't fucking tell me you're gonna try and rape me in the ass, okay? I think I'm within my rights to tell you not to do that. Like, don't like don't hide a brick in the pie you're gonna throw at my face, and then ask me why I'm bleeding all over your stage. Like, come on. Anyway, yeah, no, you're totally welcome to come on my show whenever you like. Uh, Mostly because that shit, you know, only really worked because of the element of surprise. I was honestly like wondering whether you were trying to do more gayfabe, but that's just not what that was. Like gayfabe has a like totally different vibe to it. And I don't. You think I'm trying to tell you what to do? Like, I don't think you think that. I don't think you think that at all. Uh, but yeah, no. I'm not pissed. I was pissed, and like a man, I told you I was pissed. Like if it hadn't been a public thing, I wouldn't have done it publicly. Um, yeah, like anyway, this wasn't really prompted. I've got to go dog sitting. I was supposed to be at the other house like 2 hours ago to take care of the dogs. You see what you've done, Daimo? Because of you, those dogs haven't had their food and water in like 2 hours. They're probably hungry. This is entirely your fault. That's not a joke. This is something I'm gonna blame you for, Daimo. Now, see, this is actually gonna cause like my dogs starved because of you, and I'll make you pay. I'll make you pay, Daimo. I'm gonna go IRL because of this. War will never be the same.